Hello, I'm John Riemann. You're joining me today in the beautiful Coloradory State Park in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Coloradory is one of the last natural preserves along the Lake Michigan shore and is a haven for outdoor enthusiasts. It is home of majestic sand dunes, miles of golden beach on shimmering blue Lake Michigan water, whispering pines, an abundance of wildlife and recreational activities for everyone, including camping. It's why I come here. And what camping trip would be complete without campfire cooking? Around here, we call them Pudgy pies, and the best pie irons are Rome's cast iron cookers. I've been a fan of Rome's pie irons since the first time I picked one up. They're well designed and really well built. But cast iron isn't ready to go straight off the store shelf. So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate the simple yet necessary steps of seasoning your cast iron cookers. Whether you're preparing your cast iron cookers for first time use, or maybe they've sat idle for a few seasons and you need to give them a little TLC, the process is the same. You want to clean them, dry them, and then apply a coating of Crisco, set them over the fire for about 15 minutes, let them cool, and then repeat the process. You want to repeat it 4 times to get a good base layer of seasoning. Today, I'm going to give a little TLC to this pair. As you can see, they've been enjoyed a lot. I'm also going to season a brand new round cast iron cooker. What's great about the round ones is they'll actually crimp the food like ravioli and keep all the juices from oozing out. Not to mention, when I eat a cherry pie out here, I want it to be round. When you get new pie irons, they're going to be coated in a thin paraffin wax, and this is to prevent rusting during the shipping process and prior to seasoning. The fastest way to get the wax off is to simply cook it off. Separate your 2 pie irons and place them on the grill for about 10 minutes. You want to flip them over about halfway through. After about 10 minutes, you take the pie irons out of the fire and you want to let them cool down for a few minutes. But while they're still warm, you want to wash them in a warm, soapy water mix. This is the only time you want to use soap on a cast iron cooker. These little nylon scrubbers are great. They cost about $1 at Walmart, and they'll do the job just nicely without scratching them. You just want to scrub them to get the rest of the paraffin wax off. But as soon as you do this, the next step has to be seasoning. Otherwise, they'll rust. Now, while these are drying up, I'm actually going to take my other ones, give a little TLC to them. You never want to let these soak. And these I'm just going to use in plain water. I don't like to use soap on my cast iron. A lot of people believe that it removes all the hard work you've done over the years of trying to get the seasoning on there. And soap, especially something that's a grease cutter, is going to remove all of that. We've got both of these nice and clean. You always have to have them dry before you season them, otherwise it doesn't really work. We'll take these other ones off the fire so that they can cool. They look dry. Looks like all the wax is off of them. While we're waiting for this pair to cool, we'll go ahead and wash this set right away. And again, this is just straight water. No soap. I don't want to remove any of my great seasoning that I've put on here over the years. So those are nice and clean, and we'll get them back over the fire to dry. These should be dry. They sure look like it. I'm going to take them off the grill. Now these will have to cool, because if you try to season warm or hot cast iron, your Crisco is just going to melt. Now they should be cool enough for the coating. Now if you have kids, this is the part that they'll probably enjoy. You get to get a little messy. And for the purposes of TV, I'm going to go ahead and use some gloves because it'll make cleanup faster for me. But what you want to do is take your Crisco, any vegetable shortening, take a good chunk of it, and you want to apply a nice layer of Crisco to your cast iron on all sides. Make sure you get it inside all the crevices, get it all over everything. Now once you've got them all done, coated up nicely, go ahead and place them over the fire, in this case the grill, and you leave them in there about 15 minutes, flipping them over halfway through. It's better to start them the first 15 minutes with the bowl side up. That'll allow it to bake in there better. And while those are cooking, I'll go ahead and start applying another coat to each of these. Now these square ones, you gotta be a little careful in the corners. One of the problems that a lot of people run into is they end up pushing it all out of the corners, so there isn't a lot of seasoning there and it'll rust or food particles will get stuck there. So there's number 1. And there's the last one. I'm going to do these 4 together, alternating it with this one as it heats and cools. check on these. Should be time to flip them. Sure looks good. Well, that should be the first step of these. Go ahead and take those out so they can cool off. As you can see, this guy here started to do exactly what it's supposed to do. It starts to turn a little brown, and eventually it'll end up black. So we'll go ahead and put our old ones on right away. We'll let these guys cool. In the meantime, these should bake up. So these guys should be cooled and these guys should be cooked. Whew, that's getting hot. Go ahead and move these off to the side. Pull these guys out so they can start to cool down. Looking very good. Nice and jet black, just the way we like them to be. So we'll go ahead and start these guys. They're a little warm because they're still sitting in the sun, but good enough that we can add another coat here. And there is number 2 for us. And I'll put these 2 guys back in. I'm going to go ahead and grab this other round one here and add that to the mix and bake off the paraffin wax here. And these guys are cool enough now that we can go ahead and add one more coating to these guys. I decided I didn't quite like how some of the corners were after scrubbing them out. So there's number 1. Really gives your forearm a nice workout, having to hold these up. That's one of the downsides to cast iron. So they are significantly heavier than the aluminum models, but they will last significantly longer. In my opinion, they cook a lot better, cook a lot more evenly. You don't have any hot spots. So I think all around the weight is a better option. And with this 4th one here, we can go ahead and put it right into the grill. And we'll let them begin. Now you can really see here the difference between a brand new one where it's got that dull gray finish to it, a little shiny here in the sun, and now this is with the 2nd coating on there. You see how it begins to brown up and darken? I'm going to go ahead and wash these guys up here. Again, to get that wax off of there. This is the only time I ever use soap on my cast iron. That initial wash, getting the paraffin wax off of there. After this, I just use hot water and a nice nylon brush. Since the grill is in use, I'm going to go ahead and take a little napkin here just to blot most of the wetness off and put it on top of the grill here. Use that radiant heat. They should all be done and good to go. They look nice and jet black, smoking away. Now I'm going to give these guys one more coating. They look great already, but I always like to give them 4 to start. It's a good solid base. And that's number 4, so we'll go ahead and add them to the fire. Well, let's see how the round ones finally turned out. Oh, look at that. Perfect high gloss finish. Ready to be used tonight. These guys I'll finish up on my own a little bit later. We'll let you get started on your project, and we'll see you around the campfire.